Hi, my name is Meryl.
Hi, my name is Meryl.
Hi, my name is
Meryl.
Meryl. Hi,
My name is Meryl.
So the story of how I became Meryl is
Actually, I'm named after Meryl Streep. My parents watched Out of Africa.
traditionally in Jewish culture, you take the first letter of
The person in the past that has died most recently.
My great-grandmother, Mildred, passed away right before I was born.
And they wanted to pick an M name.
Meryl Streep was on the cover of either People or Time that month. And so they chose Meryl.
So my dad, his name is Merlot, like the wine. And so I'm Meryl.
I'm actually named after my uncle.
I feel like the old Meryl men are very rough and ragged, the Merrills, which I like. It adds more layers to the Meryl name.
Okay. Hey, my name's Meryl, spelled Merrill. I always accepted I was a Meryl. My brother's named Mickey and my sister's named Marty, so it was Marty, Meryl, and Mickey. I didn't feel like I really had a choice.
I love the M. You know, the M is the only letter in the alphabet that you really pronounce with your mouth closed. So it's an indicator of listening to others rather than always speaking.
I think the name Meryl looks better in cursive. It feels cursive.
But in French, it's easier because of the R in the middle. Meryl.
And I like the R. The R feels rolling. It feels like waves. I'm a Pisces. I love the water.
Meryl.
I thought the Y in my name wasn't necessary. So for a while I would write my name Merl because I was like, no, I don't need the Y, it doesn't do anything.
And the L, it feels light and easy.
Meryl, 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 Meryl.
I do love the way it sounds. It sounds musical to me.
I hated my name growing up. Hated it.
When you're little, you want to fit in.
I was always bummed when I would look for like my name on those personalized things at the store.
Like the license plate that I could put on the back of my bike that said Meryl.
I always knew walking up to that thing that Meryl would never be on there. I had to look.
Like why couldn't my parents name me like Ashley or Brittany?
You're definitely not going to find it on a pencil.
I always dreaded the first day of school, meeting a new teacher. It would come time that the teacher's saying, roll call, and inevitably Meryl.
And you're like, that's a whole other name. And if you sound it out, it doesn't sound like that.
Merle.
They just can't quite say Meryl.
When people say Merle or Merle the squirrel, I would just be like, oh, that must have been really hard for you. Like, you worked really hard to come up with that, didn't you?
I hate when people butcher my name. It really offends me.
I lived in Louisiana for quite a few years, and they pronounced my name Merle, and I hated it. Oh yeah, I said my name is Meryl, like Merle Haggard. Like, no, Meryl, like Meryl Streep.
When somebody says, what's your name? We have not just our name, but an explanation ready, right? I say Meryl, just like Meryl Streep.
I'll say Meryl, like Meryl Streep.
I say Meryl, like Meryl Streep.
Meryl, like Meryl Streep. Meryl, like Meryl Streep.
Meryl, like Meryl Streep.
Meryl, like Meryl Streep.
Meryl, like Meryl Streep.
Oh, Meryl, like Meryl Streep. Like Meryl Streep.
Meryl, like Meryl Streep, and they're like, oh yeah.
If I say like Meryl Streep and there's like this blank expression on their face, it's like, okay, where were you born? Like, have you been living under a rock?
I can't imagine being Melissa as I wanted to be when I was growing up.
Thank God I'm not named Karen,
For what I do, it's like a good, serious name. I think it'd be really hard to be a lawyer named Brittany,
It's Meryl, bitch.
It's a regal name in America. People respect that name.
Like you're carrying the weight of your name a little bit more because you're Meryl and nobody else is.
It's very interesting also being an actor named after the most famous actor. Like, you don't want to step into an audition room as a Meryl and be terrible. Like, that's upsetting. That's upsetting for everyone.
One time I was signing up at a quilt show, signing in, to get my name tag and everything. And so I'm telling her my name, Meryl Ann Butler, Meryl like Meryl Streep. And she looks at me and she's glaring at me and she's like, I hate Meryl Streep. And I'm like, what? And she said, she cheated on her husband. And I'm like, the sculptor guy? She said, no, the photographer. And I'm like, you mean in Bridges of Madison County? She said, yes, that's against God's will. And she's a sinner and I'll never watch any of her movies again. I'm like, it's a movie.
I'll see tweets that start off with Meryl, and I'm like, oh no, is someone talking about me? And then I realize it's Meryl Streep, and it's fine.
We're not used to seeing Meryls and meeting Meryls and hearing about Meryls, except for Meryl Streep, really.
It feels like we're, all alone, kind of in our own little orbits, separately Meryling like around the world.
I would be surprised if anyone else has met more than 7 Meryls in their life.
I've met one Meryl ever in my life. It was randomly at an IKEA in South Florida.
And she turned to me and she was like, no way, my name is Meryl.
And it's like a lightning bolt moment when you meet another Meryl.
Because it feels like we're finding like a needle in a haystack.
Most Meryls, in my experience, are dark, Jewish, short women like me.
So I've never met a mean Meryl, ever. Like every Meryl that I've met has been pretty amazing and so sweet and so open.
I don't have any good friends who are named Meryl, and I think that's for the best. I don't think I could handle that.
I am not territorial. I welcome Meryls. I'm very Meryl friendly. I feel like there's room for us.
This town is not big enough for 2 Meryls. No, not at all. I don't have a cohort of Meryls, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know what the proper noun would be for a collective group of Meryls.
Maybe like a barrel of Meryls. I don't know. I'd shove us all together in one barrel and we'd roll down the hill.
I absolutely love Meryl Streep in Big Little Lies.
Flaccid.
Acid.
Now a warning.
I'm Julia Child, and
Bon appetit.
What if I don't want to live the way you live?
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this. Everybody wants to be us.
The meme of her cheering at the Oscars, where she's just like,
United States of America.
Just like that.
I think that I've learned to appreciate how special it is to be named after a beautiful and powerful and talented woman such as Meryl Streep.
If there was one famous Meryl in the world, like I'm glad it's her.
I feel like Meryl Streep lights the way for us other Meryls, so it's good.
I'm very, very proud to be a part of the Merylhood.
I feel like I kind of have that vibration of Meryl ahead of me as I walk into meeting somebody, and that's good, and I'm thankful to her for that.
Make everything really you, legit.